One of the most ridiculous bills to come from Republicans is the Don't Say Gay bill. Now, the person that you're looking at, he's the guy who sponsored the bill, Dennis Baxley out of Florida. And according to Mr. Baxley, this was in no way targeted for the LGBTQ community. And then he actually admitted, yes, it was targeted for the LGBTQ community, fact checking himself in real time. Well, this bill has now passed the House and the Senate in the state of Florida. It is called the Parental Rights in Education Bill, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by LGBTQ activists, has now been passed by both the Florida Senate and the Florida House. The bill would limit what classrooms can teach about sexual orientation and gender identity. I'm gonna take you somewhere here, because there may be people who disagree with the lifestyle, which is ridiculous to me. I'm a live and let live guy. Everyone should agree that individuals who have a sexual orientation that's their own, or gender identity that is their own, they should still have access to protections. They should have freedom of expression. These things are common to the existence of humanity. So why single them out? And I want to remind everyone, there's no bill that says you can't say rape. There's no bill banning the word killing in classrooms. There's a legislation banning the use of the word gay, is virtually what it comes down to, or anything that is associated with the LGBTQ community. Isn't that ironic? It gets deeper. The bill would also allow parents, this is the genesis of the bill. It would allow parents to sue schools or teachers that engage in these topics. If the bill is ultimately signed into law, it will go into effect January 1st. Governor Ron DeSantis has said he supports the bill, though he has not explicitly said he will sign it if it crosses his desk. Now I want you to think about something. This is not actually a problem. This bill solves no problem. There is no problem in the school system as it relates to the bill they're creating. No teacher, no force in the administrative or policy making arm of higher education, or excuse me, K through 12 education has said we have a problem with LGBTQ students in the school. Nobody. This is one of those red meat bills that harms, it does not help, creates a problem, solves nothing. There's more. The Florida Senate debated the frequently referred to Don't Say Gay bill on Monday, but one Republican spoke in such circles that he ultimately ended up fact checking himself, responding to comments from one Democrat about why the GOP does not care about the talk of drugs, the talk of rape, the talk of murder, or other topics. Instead, Republicans are more focused on addressing issues like civil rights and LGBTQ equality. You gotta ask yourself that question. Even if you're on the other side politically, even if you are a conservative and you are typically down with conservative legislation, you have to ask the question, is this a priority in the legislative cycle for the state of Florida? They're not banning these other words. They're not banning curriculum associated with any other dynamic than the LGBTQ community. Let's put up his picture. This is State Representative Dennis Baxley. Dennis Baxley, that guy, spoke for hours, according to one Miami reporter. Baxley told his colleagues that the bill did not single out gays. Oh no, the bill does not single out gays. Finally, however, he talked himself in such circles that he confessed he was scared by kids identifying as gay to be seen as celebrities. He literally said that in the same conversation while he's explaining how the bill does not target gays or gay children or members of the LGBTQ community. In the classroom, Republicans have banned books that discuss racial justice in America, including books about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, teaching the KKK or white supremacy is morally wrong, lessons about equality and diversity, the reality of LGBTQ rights and historical discrimination, and the women's suffrage movement. These are all things that GOP legislatures across America have successfully passed bans for. Adrienne, thoughts?
Well, I think this was all pretty predictable. That's something we could have forecasted. The fact is that we've known that racism, sexism, those are ride or die. So the first time when they start going after this whole CRT thing and trying to make it seem like critical race theory was a problem, it was just right around the corner that they would also attack people's sexual identity and essentially trying to keep this whole cis hetero white male supremacy in power. And they're doing that by essentially suppressing conversations, voices, issues, people from being recognized. And this thought also too that they're saying this is a political issue. No, this is about humanity. This is recognizing people's humanity. And this member of legislature saying that they're afraid that gay students would become celebrities. It's just wound in this ignorance that's just so incredibly strange. But unfortunately, these individuals are the ones in positions of power to make the decisions that impact our society and our future when they're not even a reflection of what our society wants and what our future should be looking like.
Yeah, and I want to remind everyone, we have covered teachers on Indisputable that have used racial slurs. We have covered educators that have physically assaulted other school teachers and children. We have covered administrators covering up child rape and sexual assault right here on Indisputable. How many pieces of legislation did Republicans create in order to provide remedy to those real problems? Not one. Not one lawmaker in the Republican GOP said, these are the real problems inside of our K through 12 education, so we're going to create policy legislation to solve them. Not one. What they're doing is throwing what they consider to be red meat, creating problems rather than solving them.